welcome back. So today's video is going to be all about the tips and tricks and things that I have researched and heard and been told about how to get your toddler to accept the arrival of your second born. Could be third born, fourth born, but basically what I'm getting at is I have a 2-year-old and her baby sister is due in, 16 days from today. 16 days is the scheduled C-section, so she could come much sooner than 16 days. She could come tonight, she could come 13 days, who knows. So for months I have been struggling with this because I know that a lot of times toddlers have an issue, whether it's regressing in things that they already know how to do. They suddenly stop sleeping through the night, or suddenly they were potty trained and now they're not anymore, or they won't sleep in their bed, or they just go through, rebellion almost because they're not getting attention. Like they'll throw their food on the table, off the table, onto the floor, or they'll run from you because they know you can't chase them because you have the baby. Like, I wanted to prevent these regressions, but also I've heard of mamas saying to me, like my friends and stuff, that say, my toddler wouldn't talk to me for days after I got home from the hospital with the new baby. Or my toddler was mad at me and only wanted daddy, or my toddler, whatever. So all I wanted to do was to be informed. Now again, my baby's still in my belly, so I have not tried these out myself per se, but these are just the things that I have gathered off the internet and my friends' experiences, my family. So tip number 1 is to read baby books. It's get books for your toddler to read that are about being a big sister, a big brother. Tips like books like Joanna Cole has some, there are lots of them, guys. But books that are like, I'm a big sister now, my baby brother's home today and I get to help and play with him, and he's too little to do things, but I can help wash him in the bath, and I can help make him happy when he's sad, and I can sing to him, I can color him pictures or whatever. Number 2, besides reading your books, is talking to your child and telling them that this is happening. I've told my daughter so many times, oh, baby sister's in my belly. Oh, I'm growing a baby. Oh, she's getting so much bigger. Do you want to see a picture of the ultrasound? Look how much bigger she is. She's about this big now. And I'll hold up her Tickle Me Elmo and say, this is how big baby sister is. And she's going to come home soon, and just talking to them. And then, I know she gets it. She understands, but I don't think she really gets it. Does that make sense? She's 2. So I just think repeating the same message, having my husband tell her, oh, you're gonna be such a big sister, when you're gonna be such a good big sister, you're such a good helper, and encouraging them and telling them what's about to happen. I don't want it to catch her off guard and be like, who is this person? Oh my gosh. So, this is baby sister's bedroom. This is where she's going to sleep. This is, oh, that was something you used to wear and now baby sister's gonna use it, whatever. So I just wanted to wrap that all up as one. This is kind of preparing your kids, just talking about it. Number 3 is get a baby doll. Whether you have a boy or a girl and you're expecting a baby, a boy or a girl, doesn't matter. Just buy a baby doll and play with the baby doll with your kid. Even if your kid does not seem interested. If you have a little boy and he's all about dump trucks and Spider-Man, and you buy a baby doll and he's like, you can still play with the baby doll with your son and say, oh, look it, I'm holding the baby. I see how gentle I am with the baby. Oh, baby needs to burp, I'm gonna pat baby's back. It's about teaching your kid to not throw the baby across the room, to be gentle, to ask before they touch him, to that what babies need, how you feed the baby if you're planning on breastfeeding. I have held my daughter's baby doll to my boob and said, baby needs to have some milk now. That's what babies eat, And we talk while we play with it. And I let her just play. She enjoys it too, because I have a little girl and she, just likes that kind of thing. But I know that's not every kid's cup of tea. But my daughter will say, oh, baby's going to go potty in her potty. Or baby's hungry, she needs some milk. And she'll get her a little bottle for her. And I'll say, can you give baby a bath? And we'll put her in a little bowl and use a washcloth and pretend to give her a bath. Or I'll say, can you tuck baby in? And she'll put baby in her little crib. So I want her to understand what the things are that babies need, what they like, what they don't like, what the rules are, how when you hold them, you hold the head, so that it's not the first time she's hearing these things, and that when the baby comes and I'm not getting a lot of sleep and I'm just had a C-section and I'm on meds and I'm uncomfortable and cranky and in recovery mode, that I don't have to teach her from scratch. You have to hold the baby's head. Don't do that. Don't throw the baby. Don't, whatever. I want the toddler to know the rules and what baby's doing. Oh, she just sleeps and eats a lot and she poops a lot. You know, like I don't want her to be, this is news. I don't want this to be news to her. I want her to know that's what we do. That's what baby needs. This is why mommy's holding her like this. This is how baby eats. That's why she's on my boob. My daughter's even pretended to breastfeed her own baby doll because I've been talking about it. Now, I breastfed her until she was 13 months. Here she is 26 months old. She does not remember breastfeeding. She didn't even know it was a thing till like a few months ago when I started talking about it again. So just something to mention, you know, you want your kid to understand the process, get them a baby doll, and that gives you a great open conversation type of thing. Get them the baby doll accessories if you can afford it, or use your real baby's fake, you know, real things instead of the pretend ones that they sell at, you know, the store. So here's another tip for once baby is home. This is definitely something I haven't tested out. Like I said, my baby is still in my stomach. And for the record, I'm about 37 weeks. Just wanted y'all to see I'm really super pregnant. But this tip is one that I've heard from lots of people, and that is to involve your toddler in taking care of the baby. Let them feel like a big helper. Let them participate. Don't let them leave them out. So for me, it's, you know, stuff like, can you bring me that thing from across the room? I bet your baby sister would like it if you would sing her a song. Or, you know, can you come here, sit next to mommy and burp her and pat her back so she can have a good burp? You know, let them just for a few seconds. Probably not going to be as efficient or productive as the things you would do for baby, but as long as you're there to supervise or redo it if they don't do it right. Or can you help, can you put baby's pacifier back in their mouth? Or can you go find that toy? Or why don't you go find a book that we can read to baby together? And then the toddler thinks, I'm being such a good helper in reading, but really you're just trying to keep your toddler from running around screaming, waking the baby up when the baby's sleeping. But you know, it just makes them feel less unattended, less lonely, less, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean? Like they're still getting attention, and that they're helpful and they're useful, and that they're still loved. Another tip, obviously, is to tell your child that they're helpful and they're useful and that they're loved and that they're a good big sister and that how much you appreciate them. And don't ever blame, here's the next tip, don't blame the reason you can't do things on the baby, because the baby will, or the toddler will resent the newborn, because that's why mommy isn't going to play with me, is because you always have to eat. That's why mommy doesn't want to give me my attention, is because you always poop. I don't know, whatever it is. So instead you say, absolutely, I will love to read that book to you. Give me just a couple minutes and then I will, you know, help you. Or sure, I'm, you know, you can say, I'm holding the baby, but, and then, you know, you can say, but we can still blah, blah, blah. Or if the toddler seems like, some toddlers are smart. If they're like 3 or 4 years old, they might even say something like, well, you can't do that thing. You never do that thing with me anymore because we have a sister, I have a baby sister now. And you could say something like, just because we have a baby sister doesn't mean we can't do these things. We don't, you know, we don't blame things on the sibling. That's going to create like rivalry for your attention, or just resentment on the toddler's part for the newborn. Newborn doesn't care, but it's going to be more blissful in your house if the toddler doesn't feel like they're constantly getting pushed under the rug for the kid, the baby. You know, 6 or 7, seven, I don't know, I lost track, is to understand that you're going to have recovery, whether you have a vaginal birth or cesarean. But I'm speaking strictly from a cesarean's like point of view. I've had one in the past, and that's what I'm scheduled to have this time. You're gonna have a recovery period, medicine, bleeding, ache, soreness. I mean, I don't care how you gave birth. Like I said, you may have stitches, you may have whatever. For me, it's an incision this long on my abdomen. Like obviously, I'm not gonna just be some spry little thing getting up and down off the floor. So before baby comes, during pregnancy, you need to teach your kid that you're not gonna carry the toddler around anymore. My daughter's 34 pounds now. I'm not carrying her around. I'm freaking 8, 9 months pregnant, you know? Like I can't do it. But also after baby comes, due to medical restrictions, the doctor's orders, I cannot lift more than my baby for a few weeks. So I want my toddler to know that now it's not, let's not resent the baby for making changes to your life and your routine. I simply don't lift her anymore unless I have to. Now, there are times when, you know, she's gonna run into traffic. Obviously, I'm gonna pull my kid back. I have the capability to do it. It might hurt me after a C-section, but like physically, can I restrain her? Sure, if I choose not to. But now, most of the time, it's like I'm not gonna lift her into her car seat anymore. I let her climb up. I'm gonna hold her hand and treat her like a big girl and let her walk with me, or I'm gonna put the little backpack on her with the leash. I might have to help her to get into the stroller, but then I'm not gonna carry her through the mall, or I might have to lift her to get her into the grocery cart. And that's it. Like, that's all I'll lift her the entire day. But I had to go grocery shopping, and you know, I wanted to not carry her through the store. She's only 2. I don't trust her to go through the store. She would never be able to keep up with me. She'd probably try running away. It would be like a temper tantrum the entire time. So I might have to lift her just into the cart. But even that, you know, after a C-section, you don't want to do. So my point is, start early during your pregnancy so that they don't expect you to carry them around and always lift them up onto the couch. They can climb up onto themselves, or get them a little step stool so they can brush their own teeth at the bathroom sink, so you don't have to lift them up to the sink to wash their hands every time. Or, you know, find ways to help you not have to lift them, because again, you don't want them to resent you after you have the baby and see that this thing has totally changed. If, you know, they're used to you lifting them onto the changing table to change a diaper, for example, get a little step stool, or start changing the diapers on the bed with a pad down, because you can't lift them and the toddler can climb into their own bed. Or, you know, if you're the other way around, maybe it's instead of them coming up to your level, maybe it's that you always tend to play with them on the floor. So like, my bad habit, or good habit, but bad, is that my default place to sit when my daughter's with me is on the floor with her. I often enter a room where she is, and then I sit on the floor and I play with her. We color on the floor, we do things on the floor. Now, guess what? She has a little chair in the living room. She colors at the coffee table, not on the floor, because I'm not getting up and down off the floor at 37 weeks pregnant. But also after a C-section, I just won't be able to. Usually I read her stories for bedtime and I lay down with her in her bed, and then I get up. That's hard at this pregnant, and it's gonna be way harder when I'm trying to recover from a C-section. I don't want her to expect that I can just get up and down, or that I'm gonna lay with her in her bed, or that, you know, I don't want her climbing all over my belly, climbing all over my lap. I don't want her riding my back. You know, she climbs on daddy and rides piggyback on daddy's back all the time, and I'm just like, not mine. So that when baby comes, it's not so much of an adjustment. You wanna do all these things as early as you can, so that recovery is just simply take care of you, take care of the baby. Toddler's gonna have to be taken care of, but obviously you can make it as easy on yourself as you can. Let's just try to ease the transition on your toddler's mentality of like, mommy never picks me up anymore, mommy doesn't hold me. And that leads me to my next point, which is just still try your hardest. It's hard, but give your toddler the attention that they are used to having. Try to give them as much of it as they can. Make sure that you set aside some time for mommy and daughter time, mommy, son time, whatever you have, boy or girl, and pay special attention to them. Whether it's to buy them a present, you know, I have a box of little activities that none of them are more than $5. They're like a new coloring book, or sticker sheets, or something like that, you know, something from the Target dollar spot, that Dollar Tree bouncy ball packet or something. I buy stuff like that. I have them all in my closet in my office that she doesn't have access to. She's never seen these toys. And I got her a pack of stamps that she can stamp on white paper. Really super cheap and fun activities that when baby's here, I'm going to, you know, send the baby with daddy, or send the baby with grandma or whoever, and I'm gonna spend some one-on-one time with Daisy, my 2-year-old. And I want her to see that mommy's still fun. Mommy has activities for you. Mommy enjoys you. But they're also good if mommy still has the newborn with her and I don't have the attention to give to my toddler. I can say, oh, look at this fun new toy. Why don't you go play with this over here? And we'll sit at the dining room table together, and you can do your stamps, and I'll breastfeed the baby while she's playing with her stamps, you know. Set her up for an activity that she can do alone that is gonna be fun and exciting, and she's gonna have a good day, and not, you know, think mommy doesn't do anything fun anymore. All mommy does is sit there and hold the baby and nurse the baby and try to get the baby to sleep and change the baby's diaper. But if it's like, what did you do today when daddy gets home from work, and you said, the toddler answers, we did stamps and we colored and I got to play with my new Doc McStuffins book or whatever, you know, mommy read me a new book, look. Or, you know, I want my kid to be excited, and I want her to feel like I still paid attention to her. I still took separate time for her, you know, and even though it's tempting as the newborn is breastfeeding for me to always just keep the newborn and send the toddler down with daddy or with grandma or with whoever, sometimes you got to reverse it. I'll keep the toddler and let them take the newborn. Like I'll feed her, breastfeed her, and then give her to daddy so that I get that one-on-one time that I'm used to having with my 2-year-old. So making sure you set aside some time, special, extra special time, even an outing, you know, have daddy take her out for an outing, have grandma take her out for an outing, have your sibling, you know, aunt or uncle take the toddler out for something really fun. Even as simple as going to McDonald's and getting them an ice cream cone and coming home in 45 minutes. Let them play at the play place, have an ice cream cone, and come back. They're gonna feel like they had a great day and you're good. Another thing is to try to arrange childcare and then try to arrange backup childcare and then backup childcare for that person. Because 1, you don't know when you're gonna go into labor, but 2, you might have nights with your toddler that they don't sleep well and then the newborn doesn't sleep well. So try to have, you know, okay, my husband's mom is our first line of defense. She's retired, she's our full-time childcare. Then it's my mom. Okay, my mom she still works, so it's like hard, but if, you know, if she's available, she will help. Then it's my dad, and if my dad can help, then it's my sister, and you know, I want to have like my husband's sibling like can take the kid. So have separate people, because if you go into labor and you first try grandma, she doesn't answer, try your mom, she doesn't answer, then you try so-and-so, they don't answer, you gotta go to the hospital. So you know, you want to have a lined up childcare, not just for labor, but also for those days when you just need a little break. Even if all this person does is come to your house and play with your kid in the backyard for 30 minutes and blow bubbles in the backyard or play in the sand or take a walk around the block and push your toddler in the stroller so that you can get a 30-minute nap. It's so valuable, you know? And then also another tip is the last tip. And that is to still show your toddler that they have their routine. Try not to change the structure of their day as, you know, as much as you can. Try to keep it the same. So if you always have breakfast when they wake up, right away you should have breakfast. Now, are you going to make them, you know, homemade eggs and eggs Benedict every day? Maybe not. Maybe it's a granola bar, and that's what you can handle that day because you only slept 3 hours. Guilty, it's fine. Like, she'll be fine. The toddler will survive. So just try to keep the structure. You know, nap is around noon. Okay, well, that's when we're going to nap today. I don't care if the newborn's here or not. You know, we're going to try to do nap around noon, and then we have dinner at dinner time, and you know, we always try to eat these same types of things. We always have a vegetable and a meat and a fruit and a whatever, you know. So try to keep the structure of their day the same. There are going to be variances. There are going to be times when you can't, but interrupting their life, whether it's like, oh, I have another tip. I just thought of it. For us, my toddler was in her crib till 2 years old, and we were thinking, oh my gosh, here I am in my 3rd trimester, new babies come in, I need that crib, right? Like, yes, sure, the newborn's gonna be in the bassinet for a little while, but I was really worried that we wouldn't have a crib once the newborn graduated from the bassinet and needed a place to sleep, because our toddler was still sleeping in the crib, and we didn't want to buy a new one for only a couple months overlap, you know? Luckily or unluckily, our toddler started jumping out of the crib, climbing out of the crib, and scared me so much. So we got lucky in that we didn't have to have 2 cribs or convert, you know, that we just bought her a twin bed, all good to go. But I would say if you have a toddler that you're thinking about using that crib and you need them to get into a bed, don't force it. If your toddler is ready to move them. But honestly, moving our toddler to a twin bed, even though we had no choice because she was climbing out of the bed, like it wasn't safe to keep her in the crib, was so hard. We had like 2 really rough weeks of sleep. On our perfect sleeper, our 2-year-old was sleeping 10 to 11 hours straight pretty much every single night. And then all of a sudden we would get an hour of crying before bed, an hour of crying once we put her to bed, an hour in the middle of the night, 3 times. You know, it was just like terrible for 2 weeks. Don't force it. When your toddler's ready, they'll let you know they want to get out of the crib, and don't rush into moving them into a bed if they're not ready, because it's hard. It's really hard, and having them contained in that crib is so valuable. If you haven't moved your kid out of the crib into a big bed yet, enjoy it. Enjoy knowing that your kid is safe in that little box, and then you can run around your house and do whatever you want, because once your toddler has free range in the house in the middle of the night, every noise you hear, you're like, is she in the pantry? Did she just open the cupboard? Oh, I thought I heard the garage door. Was that the garage door? Oh my gosh. And you start panicking, thinking that something is going terribly wrong, and you'll never sleep the same. So just don't rush your toddler out of the crib. Even if you need it for new baby, you'll have to figure it out. Use the pack and play for a few months, or use the bassinet, then the pack and play. Buy that second crib if you can afford it. Borrow one from a friend. You know what I'm saying? You just have to do it, because it's not worth rushing the toddler out of the bed for the baby. All right, that is it for my tips. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Hope you found this helpful, useful, learned something. Again, I haven't done all of these things because my baby isn't here yet, but these are just things that I've been reading and researching, and I thought I would show you guys some of the tips I plan to implement. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.